Bologna and freedom are synonyms. You will hear people talking all the time. Bologna is not a typically Italian city. Lincoln was not the first to abolish slavery. Porticos is a symbol of Bologna. If you think of Bologna and if you're in Italy, the first thing you're gonna think of will be the porticos. There are more than 20 kilometers of porticos here, and porticos are everywhere, literally. In the city center, you will hardly find any street, any place without them, and it's a really good thing. And there is a joke, a saying in Bologna that local people don't need umbrellas. And actually it's true, because when it's rainy, I have been saved numerous times by porticos when I forgot my umbrella at home. It really doesn't bother you at all when there is pouring rain outside and you are here under the porticos. It helps so much. The first porticos were built in the medieval times by wealthy and not so wealthy house owners, because they were actually letting them to students. They were building a portico, adding extra space to their houses, building extra rooms, then letting them to students. Because after the foundation of the university in the 11th century, there have been so many students coming to Bologna. Each year there were more and more students coming here to get the education. And of course, they needed to be housed somewhere. So people who owned homes were creative. They decided to make these porticos to add to the architectural splendor of the city, but also to gain money and also giving students a place to live. So I think it was a win-win for everyone. There's actually a very fun thing about Italians and Italian culture. If you go for a walk in any Italian city, in any Italian village, you will hear people talking all the time. It's a really good thing, I think. It's a very distinctive feature, and it gives spirit, it gives the soul to the city, because there is never a silent moment. You will either hear people talking on the phone or between each other, or you will hear people preparing their lunch and the sound of dishes and the stuff, or people doing some work. And I think Italian cities are really never silent. Bologna is the birthplace of Pier Paolo Pasolini, by the way, and many other famous people in the whole world. So here in Via Borgonuovo we can actually find the home where Pier Paolo Pasolini was born. And Bologna is not a typically Italian city with typical Italian architecture like those medieval villages in Umbria or Tuscany. However, it has its own charm, it has its own character, and this is the thing I love about Bologna. You can find streets like this one, which are a little bit more medieval, but Bologna was almost destroyed in bombings during the Second World War. So most houses here are way more modern. They were built in the 12th century. However, these bits of the city, these little pieces that gives it its soul, its character. They're really special. There is a cool thing about Italian coffee. All Italian coffee is good, but not all Italian coffee is the same. So for me, I have a bunch of favorite places. I think everyone has a bunch of favorite places where you go to have a cup of coffee, wherever you are basically. So in Bologna there is a bunch of places I like personally and I prefer no matter what. And one of them is Papare, where I just took this coffee, and why I like them so much is that they actually make cappuccinos, but they make big cappuccinos, which is called cappuccione. And you know, Italians are used to drink basically like one-shot coffee, small coffee, which is super great. And there is nothing wrong with one-shot coffee. I mean, I like it in the morning to wake myself up, or as a digestive after dinner. However, during the day I really like just a bigger cup of coffee, because you know, we all have our habits, and it's fine even if we live in Italy. And yeah, they make these bigger cups of coffee. And one thing I wanted really to tell you is that there is this myth that if you go to Italy, you aren't allowed to order cappuccino after a certain time, like after 11 a.m., or you can't order cappuccino after 11 a.m. I know, it really makes me angry to read these articles talking about this myth, because this is it, it's a myth. If you go to a bar and ask for a cappuccino at any time of the day, nobody will ever tell you anything about it. Really, there will be no barista that will make fun of you for asking that, and it's a really silly thing to think. And just go for it. If you like cappuccino, go for it. Italy has become a very international, very multinational country in the past years, and it still has its traditions. Italians, of course, are very traditional. They are quite conservative when it comes to their traditions, and it's a good thing, because I think we all need to preserve our traditions. And while foreigners mostly adopt most of the Italian traditions and habits, there are things that people from northern countries or eastern countries, or you know, any other country basically, they just can't get rid of these traditions, and it's okay. Coffee is one of them. One thing that is really very special about Bologna is its youthful energy. People just don't age here in Bologna. You can see people of all ages doing the same things. There are lots of options of how you can spend your free time. There are lots of classes, lots of associations, lots of clubs. And they are open for all ages, literally for all ages. People of all ages go out. You can see people aged 60, 70 and even more spending time with their friends, socializing, drinking together, having dinner together, going on hikes together. Like, there is no limit for when you can be active, when you can, you know, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. There's actually no limit for when you can be attractive as well, because I know people who were retired and who met their soulmates, who met their partners when they were retired. You know, they might have been widowers or whatever,
and I just met someone doing something, like in a dance club, for example, or going on a hike in a group, because there are lots of groups asking people to join on group hikes. And people meet there, people fall in love there, people go out. There are no prejudices about these things. Like, age is literally just a number here in Bologna.
There are a bunch of interesting things actually. There is a museum, Davia Bargelini, where you can see the real Bolognese apartment of, I don't remember, I guess it was from the 17th century. There is a very important portico of Santa Maria dei Servi and the church named the same way. And actually you can visit free concert there during normal times, of course, not during the pandemic and the lockdowns. And another thing located here is a bar, La Sartoria, which is found there, and they actually make really good coffee. They're very posh and very expensive, but they really make good coffee. Defensive walls in various times, of course. The third is the latest one, and it was almost totally destroyed. However, we have, of course, the first and the second were destroyed as well. We have still 12 porte, or better, entrances to the city left, and of those 12 original from the third wall, there are only 10 actually left almost intact. And there is one more, which is this one, which is actually the entrance from the second wall, which is super interesting because this one is conserved from the 12th century.
Bologna and freedom are synonyms as for me, because people here crave freedom, and even on the coat of arms of the city, it's at Libertas, which means freedom. And actually, you might have not known, but Lincoln was not the first to abolish slavery. Here in Bologna, it was abolished in 1256 by the city hall, and the city hall actually paid to all the owners of those slaves to let them free. Because thus the slavers could have become workers, could have become free workers, and in their turn they would contribute to the city. You know, they would pay taxes, of course. However, they were given means to succeed in life, and education here has always been accessible to everyone. Bologna is home to the oldest university in the Western world, and freedom and education are the two most important things for people here and for the city. These are the things that the city is known for, and these are the things that the city is proud of.
street of Bologna, there are so many luxury shops, but also a little bit less luxury shops. And there are places like Grom, which is a very famous ice cream brand in Italy. There are several historical landmarks.
There are so many memories connected to this place and to other places in Bologna. Like here in this piazza, each year there is an open-air theater, which is a huge cinema festival actually, and there is an open-air cinema theater, and I have so many memories connected to this place. When we went here to watch a film late in the evening, during the night, with the stars shining above, it's so special as an experience. Or, you know, all those times when I went here with friends to have coffee or just to sit around, to chat, to talk. And this is the spirit of Bologna, the spirit of friendliness, the spirit of freedom, of connection, which is so special, which is so particular to this city. And I think the atmosphere of Bologna is really impossible to find anywhere else.